My name is Gina Abudi, and I'm president of Abudi Consulting Group, a small woman-owned small business that focuses on management consulting and training. I started out at McKinsey and Company, which is a management consulting firm, where I got my hands in really just about everything. And that really has shaped the work that I do today with my clients. I think the number one benefit a project management consultant provides to the client, especially when if they're coming from the outside, is a different perspective, right? And an ability to look at the organization and the projects from effectively an outsider's point of view. I'm going to share a story related to this. So one of my clients had project managers internally who were good with driving the project to completion. And the CEO brought me in and said, my projects are ending on time and they're within budget. That's without a doubt. And whatever I want for the scope of the project, I'm getting, but something's not right. So when I came in and talked to them, the not right part was the project manager was absolutely doing that technical stuff that project managers do, which is I'm going to come in on time, I'm going to come in budget, and it's going to be meeting the scope that you want it to meet, the objectives of the project. But there was no engaging of the stakeholders, of the people who were being impacted by the project. Without that engagement, you can have a project roll out on time, on budget, in scope, pretty little bow on top. Nobody's going to use it. The project has failed. What really drives a project to be successful are the people skills. It's the ability to communicate up, down, and across the organization and adapt the way you communicate to meet the needs of people you're communicating with. The majority of people don't resist projects just because they've got nothing to do but to be a thorn in your side, right? There might be a handful of those, I'll admit, but the majority of people, they just don't know how to communicate and frame what they see as a problem about the project being launched. So you need to bring in a change manager who says, I can work with those people and I can prove I can work with those people. That's what you really want to look for in a change manager, somebody who is really a people person. You need to have strong emotional intelligence. You need to be able to communicate effectively. You need to be able to take when an executive says, the reason we're launching this change project is because we have to reduce costs. We have to drive profitability. We have to drive more revenue. We've got to be more effective in our processes. All of that is important, but that's not how we connect with change. I always say that is the sort of the hard data, the logic behind why we're changing. Well, what connects us with change is the stories. It's the emotional connection. The other mistake I see clients often make is that they do a really great job communicating upfront about the change and what's going to happen. And then if you go into the organization like a month or two later, people say, oh, are we still doing that? I haven't heard anything. I just assumed nothing was being done. I have no idea. So I think and it all goes back to really developing a strategic change management plan as to how are we going to engage people and how does that look for the duration of the initiative. And then once we implement what that change initiative is, then it's continuing to engage people afterwards, because just because I rolled it out doesn't mean everybody's accepted it. Not everybody accepts change immediately, right? We sometimes make the assumption, or leaders often make the assumption, well, it's very clear why we're doing those regulations are changing. No, it's not necessarily clear. And we need to trickle that from here all the way down the organization.